Hey everyone. I of course hope you're doing well through these complicated times, pandemic or otherwise, and that you're safe and optimistic through it all, however involved you may be. August somewhat recently ended, and so, as has kind of become the case now, in the middle of the following month, I'm here to talk about what I got during that month. Nice from the refrigerator. First, with Blu-rays, there is Luca, the newest Disney Pixar hit. Kind of a fantasy coming-of-age story about two young sea monster boys kind of discovering the human world through an Italian town upon discovering that they appear human when out of water. Heard very good things about this, that it's not like the most complex or emotionally gripping installment from Pixar's work, but it's still very sweet, very fun. So happy to have it on disc. Next, a new Criterion Blu-ray release, Afterlife. Directed by Hirokazu Koreeda, released in 1998. This kind of fantastic realism might be the term. Kind of drama about the basic idea that upon dying, you are kind of interviewed to pick a memory from your life to take with you into the afterlife, and kind of exploring what you might choose to preserve in that way. Something positive, something negative, centered on yourself, heavily involving other people. It sounds really interesting, coming from a pretty basic thought, so. And also, I believe this is kind of the movie that got the director acclaim outside of Japan for the first time, kind of his breakout hit with international audiences, so more reinforcement that it's a very impressive movie. Then, with TV series on Blu-ray, a little something different for me. Gridman the Hyper Agent. This early 90s, like tokusatsu, giant hero, Japanese show about some teenagers who team up with an interdimensional hero to fight digital enemies that seek to wreak havoc on the real world. I don't think I've ever actually seen a full episode of a show like this. Of course, grew up with Power Rangers and Beetleborgs and stuff. And while knowing a little bit about this, I did still kind of blind buy 4S Gridman, the anime kind of adaptation of this. But still, I kind of just dove in and bought this 39 episode kind of Japanese superhero show. So, pretty interesting impulse for me. Into comics. From Boombox, there is Lumberjanes, Volume 19, A Summer to Remember. Collecting the, I believe, double-length issues 73 and 74. Yeah. I haven't read it yet, unfortunately. Written by Shannon Waters and Kat Lay, and illustrated by Kat Lay. Kind of a story of gradual closure for the characters as summer is winding down. Each of them are thinking of one last big adventure for them to go on. So revisiting various fantastical elements from issues past. And from IDW, there is Transformers issue 33. Written by Brian Ruckley with art by Beth McGuire-Smith. Bumblebee continues to find himself in uneasy circumstances working with Swindle, especially as his business is gaining more momentum with the Decepticons. And meanwhile, Skywarp finally finds himself back on Cybertron after many, many years lost after the previous big war. From Oni Press, there is the one-shot Invader Zim, the Doogie Loop Horror. Yeah. Written by Jonan Vasquez and Eric Trueheart, art by Aaron Alexovich. This surreal, gross sci-fi story that finds Zim and Dib and Gur and others dealing with the fact that interdimensional aliens are constantly eating time and excreting the waste into Earth's dimension. Obviously not necessarily a story for everybody, but kind of is par for the course for Invader Zim. And I haven't looked much into this, but this might be the final Zim comic story for a good while. Kind of the finale to this overall run. So it's an interesting note to end on, if so. Then Transformers Beast Wars, issue 7. Still written by Eric Burnham, but now with art by Winston Chan. Soon in the aftermath of the attack on the Maximal ship, there's another new threat coming along from the reformatted, well, reprogrammed and awakened protoform Black Arachnia as a new Predacon. So bringing in some new characters now, just right after the first story arc. And also issue 1 of the new miniseries TransformersShattered Glass. I believe with the subtitle Shards. Written by Danny Lore, art by Guido Guidi. It's in kind of a mirrored universe where Autobots are evil, Decepticons are good. And I believe this is in something of a post-war Cybertron setting, in which the mercenary Blur goes for a big assignment, tracking down the Decepticons' second-in-command, Starscream. So providing nice character moments there, while of course turning things on their head quite a bit. And a big purchase from late in the month. The newest Transformers Titan class figure, the Autobot Arc. Transforms into a version of the classic Autobot starship, but now with a cool robot mode. Somewhat based on the Marvel Transformers character, the last Autobot. I think he's really impressive. Quite sturdy, articulated, very detailed. Most of his cool features are in vehicle mode, but still a very nice robot form. Inside the ship, or his chest, is this kind of crumpled up bridge that also turns into the Autobot Mainframe, as well as a Teletran 1 computer console. And also, this won't focus very well, but he also has a very tiny, 1 centimeter tall Optimus Prime, micro figure that can kind of slot into little spots on the ship's bridge. Forgot to bring these up here. Also comes with 2 3-part dark blue blast effects pieces. They can place on his weapons, on the ship's thrusters, and then simulate either weapons firing or weapon impacts. Pretty cool stuff. And in fact, he was the first Transformer of that overall size class I've seen at retail, namely Target, since the Constructicons Combiner Wars set back in, I believe, 2015. So that was quite a fun discovery. So except for that little accessory omission, that's it for this month. A little bit of movies and TV, some comics, cool toy, a little bit of the usual, couple of surprises. Feel like September might follow kind of a similar pattern of expected and unexpected. I'm still looking forward to how the rest of this current month goes. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, hope you're doing well through all this, with a mix of being careful and looking ahead. And with that, I'll see you in probably early or mid-October to talk about the September purchases. So I'll see you later, folks.